G'day from London, this is Nick at Stridewise.com, where we look at casual, durable footwear and menswear, usually from New York City, but I'm here in town visiting my mates at Arterton. And casual, durable aren't really terms you might associate with the royal family, but today I'm checking out a brand whose factory I visited a couple years ago, and they are very closely associated with the British royal family, and yet their style is both very casual and very durable and very high quality all at once. We're checking out Trickers on Jermyn Street in London. Neil, thank you for having me in the flagship store of Trickers.
It's a pleasure.
Tell me about the brand. Trickers is like so closely associated with British pedigree and British heritage. What's the story? How's it founded?
Well, we're the oldest Goodyear Welted English shoemaker still in existence.
Wow.
So North London is our home.
The one thing a lot of people associate with the brand is the Royal Warrant. Tell me about the Royal Warrant that Trickers has.
We were previously, had a Royal Warrant by appointment to the Prince of Wales.
What does that mean?
Which was Prince Charles at the time. So prior to his late mother passing and him becoming the king, we would supply him with shoes, we would supply members of the royal household and look after them. But in terms of the Royal Warrant now, we've recently been awarded by appointment to the king.
Great.
Which is fantastic.
I'm interested in the aesthetic of a British heritage brand, because in the US, when you're looking at this sort of footwear, it usually takes the form of footwear inspired by old work boots, perhaps, or like logging boots and these grand American traditions, iron miners and so on.
In a similar respect to workwear in America, here, it's a very similar thing. Think farmers. And then above that, think landowners and people that exist in areas of this country where they might have to walk in a lot of wet weather in the winter as well as the summer, and have something that works in a variety of environments. And that's sort of where that, I think, obviously the famous country brogue aesthetic has sort of come from. But I think it's developed really in a way, in the same way that a 4x4 used to just exist in the country. It's now very prominent on the streets as something that's very stylish, as well as being utilitarian, which I think goes along with what we do.
What is the country brogue style?
Well, here we have obviously the stow boot, which I think you've seen these before, but it's a wingtip brogue with a very thick, double thickness sole. This particular one is a leather sole, but most of them that we sell will have a rubber sole. A welt that comes further up shoe to allow less water ingress when you're walking through puddles and grass and mud, etc. This has a bellows tongue in it to stop water ingress. So it's something that works very hard.
I just noticed like 50% of the store is these shelves. Like what are these?
So these are shoe cupboards, and in there you will find a lot of our shoes.
Oh, it's a storage.
Yeah. These have been in this store since it opened in 1938.
Wow.
They came with us from the store that was further up the road when we moved from where the Cavendish Hotel is now. That was bombed shortly after. So we got away with one, it has to be said. And prior to that, this was in our original store on Old Drury, back in the 1920s.
Like, as an Australian and as someone hearing this association with the royal family, again, I'm just thinking, oh, surely it's all patent Oxfords around here. But it's great to see that the UK has their own take on durable and more casual sort of footwear that's ready for jobs in the outdoors, but still like nicely made with high quality materials.
When you look at our formal shoes, the DNA comes from this. It's not the narrowest, most elegant looking thing on a shelf, but it fits, it's hard working, and still looks really, really great with a suit.
In the US boot scene, you actually don't often see Chelsea boots in brands like specific Northwest brands, even like Red Wing, they often struggle to sell Chelseas. And that's because I think part of that is that the Chelsea, it really is quite a British boot in its DNA, right? Like a lot of the boots that are worn in the US, they have their origins or their DNA, their lineage in old work boots, whether it's like logging boots, whether it's a mining boot. But the Chelsea did not start out as a work boot. It was a walking shoe for Queen Victoria, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a very low Chelsea boot if you look at that compared to something like the dealer boot here. So we've done higher versions, which are more traditional. This is new for this year, so it's just a bit trendier. Not that we generally move into sort of trends, if you like. We tend to stay certainly more classic and let trends look after themselves. Fantastic boots, again, really good with heavy denim, but also really good with a tweed turn-up, flannel, cord, chinos.
What are some other like newer additions to the Trickers line? Like, what are some of the latest things you're getting into?
Yeah, cool. Well, I mean, one of them you're wearing on your feet, which I think we have a version of here. Yeah, here we go.
I'm glad we got a chance to talk about this one because this is your monkey boot. And I think if for an American watching this and is curious about the brand, but everything feels a little too British for them, the monkey boot, the Ethan, this is the boot I think that bridges the US and the UK.
It does quite a lot of things, doesn't it? I mean, to some people it looks like almost like an Adidas trainer.
Yeah, or a boxing shoe.
Yeah, like a Stan Smith, like a boxing shoe.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure of the story. There's some say it's sort of Eastern European military.
I've heard Czechoslovakian army. I've heard Polish army.
Yeah. So the Ethan, that's quite a tall version. We do a shorter version as well. We do a couple online, which I think there's a cordovan version.
Oh yeah,
there's lots of stuff going.
I love how sort of minimalist this is, and also above all, I'm really glad that you used this came out in the Acorn antique leather, that's the Trickers leather, right?
I love Acorn Antique. This is the Daniel. It's a very popular shoe with us. We did a shoe before, which I showed you, called the Woodstock, which had a bit more panelling down the side, and so we've reduced some of that and made it a bit more minimal and a bit more, again, easy to wear with casual stuff.
Definitely.
Sold it to a guy the other day, again, a relatively young chap, wore it with his turned up jeans, nice commando sole.
Definitely.
Stylish, and a cracking little shoe.
All right, Neil, thank you for having me in your store. Where is this store? How can people find you?
We are 67 German Street. We are towards the end, that's opposite a very nice restaurant where you can stop and have a coffee or maybe several glasses of wine and then come shopping.
Come on a spree. And the nice thing about German Street is that every other store on this street is a very esteemed and beloved and traditional menswear and footwear brand. Everyone you've ever heard of from Britain is right here, but of course you just walk past all of them and just come and fix Trickers.
If you want.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for having us, and we will keep an eye out for your new offerings.
Thank you.